The silence is the first thing you notice, not an absence of sound, for the office hums with the frantic energy of keyboards and murmured phone calls, but a silence within. It's the quiet hum of a life on pause. You sit at your desk, the same desk you've occupied for years, and you feel the weight of 1,000 yesterdays settling on your shoulders. The work is not dreadful, not in a catastrophic fire and brimstone way. It is simply a slow, gentle erosion of the spirit. It is the soul-deep knowledge that you are capable of more, that a more vibrant version of you is locked away, gathering dust in some forgotten inner chamber. This is the landscape of inaction. And here is the first fundamental truth we must confront, a truth so simple it becomes profound. Inaction is not a neutral state. Inaction is a decisive, powerful, and continuous action. Every morning you press the snooze button, not just on your alarm, but on your life. Every day you remain in a job that dims your light, you're not merely getting by. You are casting a vote. You are walking into a ballot box and, with a quiet sigh, selecting the candidate called the known misery. You are choosing the predictable ache over the terrifying, glorious uncertainty of something new. The same is true of the relationship that has become a source of drain rather than nourishment. Every time you swallow your truth to avoid a conflict, every time you make an excuse for their behavior, every time you tell yourself it's not that bad, you are not keeping the peace. You are actively building the prison around your own heart, brick by resigned brick. The habits that keep you stuck, the endless scrolling that numbs the mind, the complaining that bonds you to fellow sufferers, the refusal to set a boundary, these are not passive occurrences. They are rituals of reaffirmation. They are you whispering to the universe, "This is what I deserve. This is what I choose." This is where the psychologist leans in, not with judgment, but with a clinical clarity that can cut through the fog. We are wired for homeostasis. Our magnificent ancient brains interpret safety as the highest good. The known quantity, even if it is a known suffering, is neurologically preferred to the unknown, which the primitive mind codes as potential danger. When you contemplate leaving the job, your brain doesn't show you a montage of possible fulfillment. It flashes images of financial ruin and social judgment. When you consider ending the draining relationship, it doesn't promise you solitude and self-discovery. It screams about the agony of loneliness. This is not a character flaw. This is a biological inheritance. Your mind is, in its own clumsy way, trying to protect you. But to understand this mechanism is to begin to disarm it. You must recognize that the fear you feel is not a stop sign. It is a map. It is showing you the exact location of the growth you need to undertake. And then there is the complaining. Complaining, when divorced from the intention to act, is a special kind of hell. It is the purgatory of the modern soul. It creates the illusion of catharsis without the release. You vent to a friend. You detail the injustices of your boss, the failings of your partner, the drudgery of your routine, and for a moment you feel a little lighter. The burden feels shared, but the conversation ends, and the situation remains unchanged. The burden returns, heavier now for having been named but not alleviated. This cycle is a soul sickness. It is the act of repeatedly diagnosing a disease, but refusing the cure. It fuels a sense of powerlessness, cementing the narrative that you are a victim of circumstance. The life coach in me would take your hand and say gently but firmly, you have to give up the story of how hard it is, how unfair it is, how trapped you are. That story is the very cage you are living in. Complaining is the anthem of that cage. To stop complaining is not to become a Pollyanna. It is to reclaim your power. It is to shift from "look what they are doing to me" to "what am I going to do for myself?" The author, observing the human condition from a slight remove, would scribble in the margin, "Hell is not a place of fire and demons. Hell is a waiting room. It is beige walls, outdated magazines, and the faint, maddening tick of a clock whose hands never seem to move. You are waiting for permission, waiting for the right moment, waiting for a sign, for a guarantee, for someone to come and save you. But the permission will never come from outside. The right moment is a myth, a seductive lie told by fear. The guarantee does not exist, and the savior is not coming. The terrifying and liberating truth is that the only one who can open the door to that waiting room is you. So how does one begin? The shift from inaction to action is not a single monumental leap. It is not about handing in your resignation tomorrow or ending a decade-long relationship tonight, unless that is the clear and resonant call of your spirit. For most, such drastic moves born of pent-up frustration can be just another form of reactive chaos. The true movement is quieter, more internal, and infinitely more sustainable. It begins with a single conscious vote for a different future. Start with the infinitesimal. The psychologist knows that the neural pathways of inaction are deep and well-trodden. You cannot blast them away with a single explosion of will. You must begin to carve new, delicate pathways alongside them. If you feel trapped in your body, do not resolve to run a marathon. Commit to walking around the block, just once, today. If you are drowning in a cluttered home, do not plan a whole house overhaul. Clean one surface, one single drawer. If you are in a draining relationship, do not plan the dramatic confrontation. Practice one small moment of truth-telling, a simple "I feel hurt when you say that." These tiny actions seem insignificant, but they are seismic on a psychic level. Each one is a vote for a new identity. They are you whispering to your own soul, "I am someone who moves. I am someone who tends to my space. I am someone who honors my feelings." Next, move to the realm of thought. The life coach would ask you to conduct a brutal, loving audit of your mental diet. What are you consuming? What news, what social media, what conversations fill your mind? Inaction thrives on a diet of fear and cynicism. You must consciously feed yourself a different narrative. Read the biography of someone who overcame great odds. Listen to a podcast about human resilience. Have a conversation with a friend who believes in your dreams more fiercely than you do. Protect your mind as you would protect a fledgling garden. For it is from this inner soil that all external action will eventually grow. Then define what you are for, not just what you are against. It is not enough to be against your boring job. You must be for a life of creative expression, or for financial freedom, or for using your unique gifts in service of others. It is not enough to be against your draining relationship. You must be for a partnership built on mutual respect and vibrant growth, or for a period of sacred solitude to rediscover who you are. The energy of being against is brittle and angry. The energy of being for is powerful, magnetic, and creative. It pulls you forward. The journey out of inaction is a journey of reclaiming your authorship. For too long you have been a character in a story written by circumstance, by obligation, by fear. It is time to take up the pen. The first drafts will be messy. You will write sentences you later cross out. You will introduce plot twists that scare you. This is the creative process of self-construction. You will not get it perfect. You will only get it going. And with every word you write, with every small conscious choice you make, you are telling a new story about who you are. The realization that inaction is action is the great awakening. It is the moment you understand that you are never not choosing. You are either choosing to change, or you are choosing to stay the same. There is no third option. This knowledge is the weight of your own freedom, and it can feel crushing at first, but soon it becomes the foundation of your power. The silence in the office, or in the relationship, or in your own heart is no longer just a silence of resignation. It becomes the fertile silence of potential. It is the quiet from which a new question can emerge, a question so simple it can change the trajectory of a life. It is not, "Why is this happening to me?" but "What do I choose to do now?" And in that question, asked with genuine courage, hell begins to lose its power. The waiting room door creaks open, not onto a guaranteed paradise, but onto the messy, beautiful, uncertain, and utterly your own landscape of your one wild and precious life. The vote is cast not in a booth every few years, but in the quiet of your own heart, with every single dawn. Choose wisely.